Why are we drawn to the shadows? What compels us to peer into the abyss? Horror, often relegated to the dusty corners of literature and film, holds a strange power over us. It taps into a vein of fear and fascination deep in the human psyche. We crave the macabre, not because we are morbid, but for its unique reflection of ourselves. Horror stories are twisted mirrors reflecting our deepest fears and anxieties. In the flickering shadows of a campfire, our ancestors spun tales of mythical beasts and vengeful spirits. These stories, passed down through generations, were not merely entertainment. They served as warnings, cautionary tales of dangers lurking in the unknown. Today, we gather in darkened theaters and lose ourselves in terrifying novels. The monsters may have changed, but the thrill, the fear, the recognition, it remains the same. Horror, in all its gruesome glory, speaks to something fundamental about being human. The roots of horror run deep, entwined with the very fabric of human history. Ancient myths, from the Greeks' monstrous Medusa to the Babylonian epic of Gilgamesh, are filled with creatures and curses that prey on our deepest fears. These tales, often born from a need to explain the unexplainable, gave shape to the darkness that surrounded our ancestors. The Gothic literature of the 18th and 19th centuries, with its crumbling castles, brooding heroes, and supernatural terrors, further fueled our fascination with the macabre. Think of the chilling terror of Horace Walpole's, or the psychological torment that unfolds in Edgar Allan Poe's tales. These stories, while rooted in the supernatural, often explore deeper themes of societal anxieties, moral corruption, and the fragility of the human psyche. They reminded us that the monsters we fear the most often lurk not in the shadows, but within ourselves. Why do we subject ourselves to the terror of a horror film or the spine-tingling suspense of a thriller novel? One answer lies in the concept of catharsis. Horror allows us to experience fear and other intense emotions in a safe, controlled environment. Like a roller coaster ride that sends our adrenaline soaring, horror provides a release, a purging of pent-up anxieties. We emerge from the darkness, hearts pounding but strangely invigorated, having confronted our fears and emerged, at least for the moment, victorious. There's a sense of control in experiencing fear through fiction. We know on some level that the monster can't reach us beyond the page or the screen. This knowledge allows us to lean into the fear, to savor the adrenaline rush, and to emerge from the experience feeling strangely cleansed. Some horrors are more visceral, more immediate than others. We recoil from the grotesque, the distorted, the unsettlingly familiar, yet undeniably wrong. This sense of unease, of creeping dread, is often attributed to the Uncanny Valley. Coined by roboticist Masahiro Mori in 1970, the Uncanny Valley describes our aversion to things that look almost human, but not quite. Think of a doll with vacant eyes that seem to follow you, or a CGI character that moves with a disconcerting stiffness. This sense of wrongness triggers a primal alarm bell in our brains. We are wired to recognize and trust patterns. And when something disrupts that pattern, our instincts tell us to be wary. In horror, the Uncanny Valley is a powerful tool, used to create a sense of unease and dread, that lingers long after the credits have rolled. Section 5. The Shadow of Ethics. Horror forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world. Ethical dilemmas challenge our notions of right and wrong. Mary Shelley's work questions the limits of scientific ambition. Is Victor Frankenstein a visionary or a reckless creator? Jordan Peele's work exposes the insidious nature of racism. A young black man visiting his white girlfriend's family realizes something is terribly wrong. Horror challenges our assumptions and forces us to confront the darkness within ourselves and society. Section 6. Society's Fears. Writ large. Horror often serves as a reflection of the fears and anxieties of the time in which it is created. Like a cultural time capsule, horror films and literature can offer a glimpse into the collective psyche of a society, revealing what kept people awake at night. During the Cold War, for example, science fiction horror flourished, with films like and reflecting widespread anxieties about communism, nuclear war, and the threat of invasion from an unknown enemy. Today, in the wake of global pandemics and climate change, we see new fears reflected in our horror stories. The fear of disease, of societal collapse, of an uncertain future. Films like and tap into these anxieties, offering a glimpse into our deepest fears about the fragility of our world. Horror, then, is not merely a genre of entertainment, but a reflection of our collective fears, a way of processing the anxieties of our time through the lens of fiction. Section 7. A Dance with Darkness. The paradox of horror is that we are both drawn to and repelled by it. We seek out the thrill of fear, the adrenaline rush of a good scare, yet we also recoil from the grotesque, the disturbing, the things that make us question our own humanity. Why? Perhaps it is because horror allows us to confront the unknown, to face our fears in a safe environment, and to emerge from the darkness feeling strangely alive. Or maybe it is because horror reminds us that we are all vulnerable, that life is fragile, and that there are forces in the universe beyond our control. Whatever the reason, our fascination with horror speaks to a fundamental aspect of the human experience. Our need to explore the darkness, to confront the unknown, and to find meaning in the face of fear. Section 8. Horror and the Human Condition. In the end, our fascination with horror is inextricably linked to our desire to understand ourselves and the world around us. Horror stories, for all their gore and mayhem, often grapple with profound questions about life, death, good, evil, and the nature of reality itself. They remind us that the line between man and monster is often blurred, that even in the darkest of times, there is hope, and that the human spirit is capable of enduring unimaginable horrors. More than just cheap thrills and jump scares, horror offers a unique lens through which to examine the human condition in all its complexity and contradictions. So, the next time you find yourself drawn to a horror film or a chilling tale, remember that you are tapping into a rich vein of human experience, a primal fascination with the darkness that has captivated audiences for centuries. Embrace the fear, explore the shadows, and discover what horrors lie within.